guys. Okay, so today's video is supposed to be, not supposed to be, you guys are supposed to be watching the Soul Finds video right now, but I'll put that up next week because this video just sort of came up. So as you can see in the title, it's a comparison between two eyeshadows, and most of you guys out there will have heard of the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. They come in singles, they look like that. So I've got this one in, what color is it? Number 12, Endless Chocolat. So looks like that, and it's a chocolate brown color. So that's sort of the cap there, and then you twist it and the product is inside. Okay, I think a couple of months back as well, I think if you're a regular on YouTube, I think most of the gurus are talking about it. And for me personally, just never really interested me. I don't know why. I don't know. It just never interested me. And what actually happened was I was watching, I can't recall which one. I was watching one of the videos on YouTube, and the person was talking about these eyeshadows, right? And I had seen them before that, and I didn't bother to watch any of the videos, and like I said, it didn't really interest me. And as I was turning it off, she actually said something that was really interesting. She was trying to describe the eyeshadow, and it just sounded really familiar to me, because if you guys will have seen my last video, which was the Fiji Finds, I had described this palette, which I'm doing the comparison on. Okay, this Baolishi, whatever name's coming up, yeah, that palette. I had described it in the other video, the previous one, and I recall I was struggling to kind of define the product for you guys. I was telling you it felt creamy almost. Anyway, so this person that was describing this L'Oreal eyeshadow was saying that it is not really a powder but not really a cream, so like a really interesting texture. And I was like, okay. And that was the very week I had filmed the Fiji Finds video, so I was thinking, okay, that's interesting, because that's kind of how I was wanting to describe this palette, you know. And it's just, I couldn't really find the right word, I would say. So I thought I would do a comparison, which means I had to go out and get one of these infallible eyeshadows, even though I didn't really want to. But in order to do the comparison, you know, you have to have both of the products. So I figured, for you guys in the US, it's fine. Well, not fine, but like, you know, it's not that pricey. Here in Switzerland, this thing cost, I think, 1590 francs each. Okay, so for one of these, okay, and for me, I would rather buy a palette with 1590, but anyway, you know, it's what you have to do to make a comparison. So I figured I'd pick up one that I would get a lot of use out of, which is this chocolate brown color. Okay, first off, when I got it, I opened this and the palette, opened it up, and first thing I did was try to feel the texture. Okay, so of course, you know me, stuck my finger in there, and it feels identical. Okay, it feels exactly the same. It is true, it's not really powder, even though it's a powder. It tends to feel more creamy, like a cream powder product. Yeah, there you go, that's what it feels like. If I will show you the colors up close, they're all shimmery, okay, and like no matte, all easy to apply. Okay, and of course I'll open up the L'Oreal one. And the funny thing about this is, the first time I was using this palette, I was thinking to myself, wow, it's like, I don't know, the product's really creamy, and I was thinking, you know, it'd be really good if they had something that like stamps it in to keep the surface, you know, meticulous. And funnily enough, when I got this L'Oreal one, sure enough, they have this little tab in there that does exactly that, which is like stamp the product down to keep it compact. Okay, so that's what it looks like inside. Okay, can you see my finger marks in there? Now it's all smoothed out. So it's a really dark chocolate color. A little really fine shimmer in there, but I mean, this is my color. It's really perfect color for making those daytime smoky eyes that can transition to night. So anyway, that's the L'Oreal one. To test the two products, what I did was on one day I used the L'Oreal eyeshadow. I put it onto my eyes without any primer and I wore it for the entire day just to see how it would work. So after 5 hours, it was still there. It was still intense, but there was slight creasing. But honestly, I would be surprised if there was no creasing, because there is not an eyeshadow that has been made yet that does not crease on my eyes, okay? As you know, I have hooded eyes. So, yeah, if it didn't crease, that would have been a miracle. So that was after 5 hours. But overall, it was still alright. And after 8 hours, then there was a little bit more creasing. And after 10 hours, the intensity had faded. I mean, after 8 hours, it also faded a bit, but it was more noticeable after 10 hours. But like, not like some eyeshadows before, they just are completely gone. It was there, so I was quite happy with that. So that was one day. The day after, I tried one of the shadows from this palette, which is the one I have on today, actually. And so I tried it for the next day, and the same, I did the same test on it. And I would like to say that it didn't perform the same. I mean, because, you know, one is known brand and one is completely unknown. But it performed exactly the same for me. Same thing after 5 hours, same thing after 8 hours, and same thing after 10 hours was still there. And they were like, for both, after 10 hours they had creased, okay? But exactly the same performance, okay? Mind you, one being really unknown and cheap, and the other, I know for you guys in the US, L'Oreal is like a drugstore brand, but in a lot of other countries, it's not so cheap to buy. And so what I did the day after was I applied the eyeshadows with primer, okay? So same thing, just with primer, one day each. And with the primer, it stayed on for the full 10 hours, no creasing for both. Also, in terms of performance for both of them, so smooth, so easy to apply. Love these type of shadows. I have used this L'Oreal one for like a daytime smoky look that transitioned into a nighttime smoky look, and it worked fine. So if you're looking for a shadow like that, this is a good one for that. And they're just the kind of shadows that, I don't know if you can use them wet. I haven't tried them wet. But if you're looking for that foiled look, you can get it just like that. They're just, you can apply them with your fingers. I applied it with a sponge applicator simply because I felt that that worked better. I don't apply it with a fluffy brush. I didn't get enough the effect I wanted with a fluffy brush. Use a flat eyeshadow brush or even the sponge applicator that came with it. And they're fantastic for just applying it all over your lids and then blending it out, and it looks like you used two different shadows, but it's the same shadow. As you can see here, I hope you guys can see, I've got it on my eyelid, and then I've been able to blend it out. And when you blend it out, it doesn't stay in this texture, you know what I mean? So it's not all foiled or all shimmery all the way up. So in a way, when you blend it out, it sort of takes on a more satin to matte finish. So they're really great for that, for using one color and like achieving a two-toned look with it. So I did that as well with this. I was able to blend it out on its own for a smoky eye look, and it worked great. So application wise, they're so great. They go on so smoothly. Overall, would I recommend the cheap eyeshadow? Yes. If I had the choice, as I told you before, the L'Oreal one didn't really interest me at all, and I only got it to make this comparison, right? but on most cases I tend to go for palettes because you just get more for the money and you get like more of a variety. I would recommend the L'Oreal one if you're somebody who tends to pick a shade they like and stick with it. And so, you know, there's definitely more quantity in the L'Oreal one, right? So then I would recommend that. And but if you're someone like me that likes variety, so you hardly ever stick to the same shadows all the time, then I would recommend to get the palette, okay? And I mostly did this video for those of you in countries outside of the States where L'Oreal can be on the pricey side or is not even available, or they don't often stock the entire range, so you wouldn't have these infallible colors, right? So, for example, in Fiji's case, I know L'Oreal is a little bit on the pricey side. If you do spot this palette somewhere near you, I would really recommend you pick it up, because for me, it did the same thing, okay? And I will not be purchasing another infallible eyeshadow. Nothing to do with its performance or its packaging. It's not that I don't like it or I hate it. It's just not something that interested me. And like I said, I grabbed this palette because of the color selection, okay? And I know for those of you in Fiji, you're asking, well, where did you get it? Okay, and as I said in the last video, I can't recall. For this video, I racked my brains to try to remember where I got it from. I know for sure it was not, I did not get this palette in Mark Street. 99% of me says I got it in Rajabai Patel Street, and I am thinking it is the shop. When you go into Rajabai Patel Street, there is a bend that goes on the road, and at that bend there is a shop. I think there's a 99-cent shop or a $1 shop, I think, right ahead. It's either the shop next to it or 2 shops away from it. You know, 99% of me thinks of that when I think of where I got this palette, okay? But you don't have to get this particular one. Just try to look for shadows that may have that consistency where when you touch it, it feels rather creamy, but you know it's not a cream shadow. So, but that's the great thing. A lot of the unknown or affordable brands are have upped their game in terms of making cosmetics. So you're really getting better quality than, say, you did like 5-10 years ago. And with primers, like eyeshadow primers, in my opinion, they just changed the game altogether. For me, ever since, you know, discovering eyeshadow primers, I have the freedom to just, when I wake up on a particular day and have an outfit and I think of a color I want to use, I just grab the color without thinking of the brand, you know, whether it's a high or low. And because of the existence of primers, I know whatever I put on is going to last the whole day. And very rarely do you have a crappy shadow that even a primer can't help. So, in the time I've been using primers, I've yet to discover such a shadow. But yeah, I think that's great with the new makeup inventions or innovations that they're making, and it's nice that you can buy what you want and expect it to work with the help of things such as a primer, whereas 5 more years ago you have to buy high-end if you expect anything to last, okay? Most of the cheap shadows just would evaporate, you know, like 2 hours later. So yeah, if you can, invest in a good eyeshadow primer. They really, really just help things stay on for the entire day. So I hope this was helpful to some of you out there, and that was like a spontaneous video that just occurred to me when I compared the two. And next week will definitely be the Soul Finds, and do let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you have products where you would like to find a more affordable or more available alternative to that does the same thing. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. Feel free to let me know down below or in any of our 3 or 4 pages that we have. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and till the next video, mote.